Hello, my name is Clara Mendoza. It slips out easily now, smoother than the gin I pour, faster than my pulse when someone from the hospital walks in. The silver vein smells like cheap whiskey and fear. Neon light crawls across the bottles like it's trying to escape. By day, I wear scrubs, chart vitals, listen to the sound of machines pretending to be hearts. By night, I serve people trying to forget they have any. Every pore reminds me why I'm here. Mom's face under hospital lights, the bill's red number blinking like a dying pulse. I could have taken another loan, another promise I'd never repay, but debt is its own kind of disease. It spreads. So I work nights, quietly, invisibly. The rule is simple, never let one world bleed into the other, but lately the line's been smearing. At the hospital, my professors think I study late in the library. At the bar, my coworkers think I dropped out of school years ago. No one knows both sides of me, and that's how I survive. But lately, it feels like both lives are circling, waiting to collide. It started with Dr. Patel, my clinical supervisor. He's one of those doctors who remembers everything, symptoms, students, secrets. One morning during rounds, he asked, "Clara, you seem tired. Everything all right?" I lied. "Just studying late." He smiled, but his eyes lingered too long. "Be careful, Miss Mendoza. Fatigue makes mistakes, and mistakes kill." That same night, at the bar, I was wiping glasses when a group of nurses from Street Marys walked in, still in scrubs, laughing, complaining about night shifts. My heart nearly stopped. I turned away, tugging my hair down to hide my face. "Clara?" one of them said. I didn't turn around. I grabbed a tray and ducked into the back room, pretending to check inventory. My hands were shaking so hard I almost dropped a bottle of tequila. When I came back out, they were gone. But a napkin sat on the counter, scrawled in messy handwriting. "Didn't know nursing school paid this well. Be careful who sees you." After that, paranoia became my new shadow. Every morning I scanned the halls, waiting for whispers. Every night I scanned the bar, waiting for faces I knew. I started taking longer routes to class, switching buses, changing my work schedule. Sleep became a luxury, one I couldn't afford. Then came the phone call. It was 2:13 a.m. I was cleaning the counter when my phone buzzed. The number was blocked. I hesitated, then answered. "Clara Mendoza," a voice said, calm and deliberate. "How's your mother's recovery?" My throat went dry. "Who is this?" The line clicked dead. When I got home, the lights in our small apartment were still on. Mom was asleep on the couch, her chest rising softly under a blanket, the scar from her surgery faintly visible beneath her collar. I knelt beside her and stared at the half-empty bottle of pills on the table, the ones the hospital charged us triple for. I promised her I'd fix it. I just didn't know the cost. The next morning, I nodded off in pharmacology class. I woke up to my name echoing through the room, "Miss Mendoza," and everyone staring. Professor Healy's eyes were sharp, the kind that sliced right through excuses. "If you can't stay awake, maybe you should reconsider your schedule," he said. I mumbled an apology, cheeks burning. The room spun around me, faces, whispers, laughter. By the time class ended, my phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. "Sleep when you're dead, Clara. Your shift starts at 8. No name, no emoji, just that. That night at the bar, everything felt off. The lights were dimmer, the air thicker. The regulars weren't laughing, they were watching. I caught glimpses of faces turned just enough to catch mine. At 9:47, a man in a gray coat sat at the end of the counter. I didn't recognize him. He didn't order anything for a while, just tapped his fingers on the wood, slow and rhythmic like a metronome counting down. When I finally asked what he wanted, he looked up. "Gin," he said, "and your real name." The bottle froze in my hand. "Excuse me?" He smiled. "It's funny," he said. "You look so different without the scrubs." My stomach flipped. "I think you've got the wrong person." "Do I?" He leaned forward, voice dropping. "Street Mary's nursing program, 3rd year, top 10%. Pretty impressive considering your night job." I wanted to run, but my legs felt cemented. He slid a folded paper across the counter. I didn't touch it. "I'd keep your secret safe," he said, "but secrets aren't cheap, and I know how much you already owe." Before I could speak, he stood up, left a 50 on the counter, and disappeared into the crowd. When I finally opened the paper, it wasn't money. It was a hospital bill, mine. The exact one sitting on our kitchen table. Same date, same total. Only this version had something extra written at the bottom in red ink. "You're not paying for what you think you are." The world tilted. My chest tightened until I couldn't breathe. That night, after closing, I sat outside on the curb, shaking, the bill clutched in my hand. The city hummed around me, sirens, laughter, distant thunder. I watched a nurse in a white coat cross the street toward the hospital, her reflection flashing in the glass doors like a warning. I wanted to believe this was just a cruel prank, but deep down, something told me it wasn't. Because when I got home, the apartment door was unlocked. Mom was still asleep, breathing soft and steady. The bills on the table, every single one, were gone. And for the first time, I couldn't tell who was saving who. The next night, I tell myself not to go back. But debts don't wait for courage. By 8:30, I'm walking through the alley behind the silver vein, the city sweating in sodium light. My reflection trails me in a puddle, bent, distorted, silent. Inside, everything feels rearranged, the music slower, the air heavier. I keep glancing toward the end stool, the one where the man in the gray coat Saturday. It's empty, but I can still hear that sound, his fingers tapping the wood, steady as a clock. At 9:15, a new customer slides onto that same stool. Different face, same stillness. He orders the same drink, gin, neat, no lemon, no ice. Someone recommended this place, he says without looking up. Said you pour a clean shot. The words taste rehearsed. I force a smile. Whoever told you that, hope they tipped well. He grins, all teeth. He said you were reliable. That word lands wrong. Reliable like an employee or an asset. He leaves a folded 20 under his glass before I've even poured. When I pick it up, something scrawled across the bill in red ink. Check the fridge. The cash feels hot in my hand. At closing, I wait until the bar empties. The hum of the beer cooler buzzes like a wasp nest. I open the fridge behind the counter. Bottles of tonic, limes, a plastic bag that shouldn't be there. Inside, another hospital envelope. My name on it. No postage, just a note stapled to the front. They're watching the patients who can't pay. I tear it open. It's another bill, same formatting, different numbers, only this one isn't mine. It belongs to a woman named Rosa Delgado. Uninsured, post-up infection. Amount due, 91,34 dollars. But the date of service is wrong. The hospital logo's newer, like it was printed last week. I saw Rosa 3 months ago in recovery. She died 2 days after surgery. I stand there until the lights flicker out, the generator hiccuping in the basement. My breath fogs the freezer door. Someone walks by the front window, shadow long and deliberate. The next morning, I skip class and head straight to Street Mary's. The corridors smell like antiseptic and old coffee. I find Dr. Patel in the staff lounge talking softly into his phone. When he sees me, he ends the call too fast. Clara, he says, smiling that professional smile. Everything okay? I hold out the envelope. I found this. It's dated after a patient's death. He glances at the papers, then folds them back without reading. Where did you get this? I can't tell you that. Then you shouldn't have it. He slides it toward me, voice flattening. Return it to whoever gave it to you and forget it exists. I whisper, someone's changing the records, aren't they? He exhales through his nose the way doctors do when they've run out of bedside manners. You're exhausted, Clara. Take a few days off, get some rest. Rest. The word feels like a command. When I leave the hospital, a black sedan idles across the street, tinted windows, engine humming. It follows 2 car lengths behind me for 5 blocks, turns off only when I duck into a pharmacy. That night, the gray coat man returns. Same stool, same drink, same clockwork tapping. You looked into it, didn't you? He asks. I keep my voice steady. Who are you? Someone who lost more than money to that hospital. He slides a small flash drive onto the counter. Everything you need is on here, billing records, off-book surgeries, transfers, but once you open it, they'll know. They? He leans closer. The people who run your debt. The jukebox clicks to a stop, the silence sudden and sharp. For a moment, all I hear is the ice melting in a forgotten glass. He finishes his drink, stands. You can't save your mother if you stay innocent, Clara. Innocence is what they charge for. Then he leaves. No tip this time, just the faint scent of disinfectant like a hospital hallway. I stare at the flash drive for a long time before touching it. It's warm, as if it's been in his pocket all day. At home, Mom's watching old sitcom reruns, the laugh track filling the small room like canned happiness. "You're late," she says, not looking up. "Long shift," I answer. My voice sounds borrowed. When she finally goes to bed, I plug the drive into my laptop. Folders bloom across the screen, invoices, transfers, accounts. One name repeats on every spreadsheet, the Silver Vein, LLC. The bar isn't just laundering hospital money, it's where they move patient debts, turning suffering into currency. Each unpaid bill becomes a number in someone's offshore account. And buried in the data, Mendoza, Maria, my mother. Her surgery listed 3 times under different codes. The total bill to insurance tripled the actual cost. I scroll until my hands tremble. There's a note beside her file. Asset flagged, depend leverage available. I don't know what that means, but my stomach does. Then the laptop flickers. A new message pops up. "Nice work, Clara." No sender, no icon, just black text on white screen. I yank the power cord out. The light dies, but the message burns in my head. Outside, an engine revs. Headlights sweep across the apartment wall, slow, deliberate, pausing on the window before sliding away. Mom stirs in the other room. "Everything okay?" "Yeah," I lie. "Just cars outside." But my heart's hammering. The same rhythm. Tap, tap, tap. The next day I go to the bar early, hoping to confront the gray coat man, to demand answers, but when I arrive, 2 cops are already there, yellow tape across the doorway. "What happened?" I ask. One of them glances at me. "Owner found dead this morning, locked inside, looks like a heart attack." The Silver Vein sign flickers overhead, buzzing like a dying insect. I see my reflection in the window, split by the tape, half light, half shadow. In my pocket, the flash drive feels heavier than bone. The cops seal the Silver Vein before noon. By dusk, the street already smells of bleach and rain. I stand across from the tape doorway with the flash drive still in my pocket, watching condensation drip down the inside of the windows like sweat. They'll call it natural causes. They always do. I should go home. I should throw the drive into the river and forget the man in the gray coat ever existed. But every time I close my eyes, I see that line in the file beside Mom's name, dependent leverage available. Leverage for what? The next morning, I walk into street. Mary's not as a student, but as a trespasser. The badge around my neck still works. No one updates the clearance for trainees. The hallway hums with machines, fluorescent lights buzzing like nerves. I tell the charge nurse I'm here for pharmacology hours, then drift toward records. The department door requires a thumb scan. I wait until an intern comes out, balancing coffee and paperwork, and slide in before it shuts. The smell of toner hits me first. Rows of beige cabinets, humming servers, red indicator lights blinking in rhythm with my pulse. I plug the flash drive into a terminal. The screen floods with spreadsheets again, but this time I open the transfer logs. Names, dates, account numbers, hundreds of them. Each patient who couldn't pay has a matching fund deposit, money wired to shell companies with pretty names. Aurora Recovery, LLC, Silver Vein Entertainment, Northlight Consulting. All registered to the same P.O. box. Then I see another tab marked clinical overrides. When I open it, a wall of procedure codes fills the screen. Some are highlighted in red. Surgeries marked elective when they were life-saving. Drugs switched for cheaper substitutes. Bills multiplied by 3. And there, Mom's chart. Her surgeon listed as Patel. Except Dr. Patel told us insurance denied the cost because of complications. The file says otherwise: procedure covered, payment received, funds diverted. My throat goes dry. He didn't just lie, he sold her operation twice. A door slams down the hall. I pull the drive, pocket it, and duck behind a cabinet. Voices echo closer. Audit team's asking about the Silver Vein account. Keep it quiet until the Patel review. He's nervous enough. Then keep him busy. We can't afford another leak. Footsteps fade. I exhale through clenched teeth. Outside, the sky's turning the color of gauze. I make it to the parking lot before my phone vibrates. Unknown number again. You shouldn't be in there. I spin around, nothing but wind and the rattle of IV carts near the loading dock. That night, I can't sleep. I print everything from the drive, hide the pages under my mattress. Mom's coughing through her dreams in the next room. Between gasps, she whispers a name, Patel. Any morning, I confront him. He's in the surgical prep room tying his mask. When he sees me, his hands freeze mid-knot. "Clara, you shouldn't be here." You falsified her records. I throw the printouts on the counter. You charged insurance 3 times for 1 surgery. His jaw tightens. You don't understand what you're touching. I understand you use my mother's heart to pad a balance sheet. He rips the mask off. You think this is about money? You have no idea what kind of people you're exposing. Then explain it. He glances at the door, lowers his voice. The hospital's in debt. The administration sold the patient accounts to outside investors, laundering the write-offs through businesses like your bar. They call it asset recycling. I call it murder. Why my mother? Because she survived. The words hit harder than any slap. Before I can speak, the intercom crackles overhead. Dr. Patel to OR2 stat. He gathers the papers, shoves them into my hands. If you want proof, find the contracts in finance, but be careful, Clara. They're already watching me. He walks away. I never see him again. That afternoon, security floods the floor. Rumor spreads. Patel collapsed during surgery. Another heart attack. I take the stairs to the basement, where the finance archives sit behind a keypad door. The code I stole from Patel's notes works. Inside, rows of metal drawers and the smell of mold and paper rot. The files hum with fluorescent light. I find a folder marked Debt Reallocation Program. Inside, a list of eligible dependents, patients, relatives, co-signers, guarantors. My name appears under Mom's. Next to it, a column labeled Collateral Employment Source, Silver Vein Bar, Night Operations. They didn't just track my debts, they placed me there. I drop the file. Somewhere above, alarms start wailing, fire or maybe security. I run, the corridor narrows, red lights flashing against steel. At the exit, 2 guards appear. I duck into a maintenance stairwell, heart hammering in sync with the siren. On the landing, an envelope lies on the floor, same hospital logo, my name printed clean across it. Inside, a single photo, me behind the bar, the caption typed beneath, leverage confirmed. By morning, the fire alarms from the night before have turned into rumors. A small systems malfunction, the hospital says. No mention of Patel, no memo, no obituary. It's as if he never existed. I hide the photo inside my textbook. Between anatomy diagrams of the human heart, it feels cruelly appropriate. The caption still hums in my head, leverage confirmed. That afternoon, 2 men in suits wait outside the nursing wing. They aren't police, they're too polite, too polished. When I walk past, one of them calls my name. Miss Mendoza, can we have a word? The badge on his lapel says risk management, but his eyes don't match the smile. They usher me into an empty consultation room. The blinds are half closed. The light cuts across their faces like a barcode. One of them sets a folder on the table. My file. We understand you've been accessing restricted records, he says. I'm a student. I don't even have access. That's the problem, the other one says. Someone used your credentials last night. I keep my hands still on my knees. Maybe there's a mistake. There usually is, the first one answers, until someone fixes it. He closes the folder, leans in, take some time off, Miss Mendoza, focus on your studies, and if anyone contacts you about Dr. Patel, refer them to legal, that's all. They leave before I can breathe again. That evening, my apartment feels smaller. Mom's watching a game show, laughing at the canned applause. I can't tell her any of it. She believes hospitals save people. I can't destroy that. I go to my room, pull the drive from its hiding spot and wrap it in foil, a habit from some half-remembered tech article. Then I write everything down. Patel, the silver vein, the invoices, every name, every date. If something happens, someone has to know. At midnight, the power flickers, once, twice, then silence. From the window, I see a car idling across the street, same sedan, engine running. I grab my coat and slip out the back. The air tastes of rain and exhaust. I head toward the 24-hour library on campus. It's the only place still lit. Inside, a few students doze over laptops. The normalcy almost hurts. I sit at a computer, log in under a fake name, and upload copies of the files to a private drive. When I finish, the timestamp on the screen reads 2:07 a.m. As I step outside, a man blocks the doorway. Not a stranger this time, one of the suits from risk management. Working late again, he says. My pulse spikes. I had a paper due. He smiles. Then you won't mind if we check your bag. He reaches for it. I step back, fast. Touch me and I call security. He glances past me. 2 guards stand by the vending machines, distracted, laughing. Security works for the hospital, he says quietly. So do I. He doesn't move closer, just watches. Go home, Clara. Delete whatever you think you found. It's not yours to carry. Then he turns and walks into the dark. I don't go home. I take the long route through the student parking lots, every shadow twitching at the corner of my eyes. When I finally reach our building, the sedan is gone, but the door to our apartment stands open. Mom's asleep on the couch again, unharmed. Only the TV remote and my laptop are missing. On the kitchen table lies a new envelope. Inside, a single line typed on hospital letterhead, "We warned you." I sit down on the floor, shaking, the paper cutting into my fingers. For the next 3 days, I move through life like a ghost. Classes, shifts, smiles that don't touch my eyes. I change my phone number, pay cash for everything, stop checking email. Still, messages find me. Slip of paper in my locker, "You're not invisible." Text from an unknown number, "Leverage expires soon." It's not just fear anymore, it's containment. The 4th night, I wake to a sound in the kitchen, a chair scraping. I grab the nearest thing, a metal flashlight. The hallway is dark, except for the glow from the fridge. A figure stands there, rifling through the drawer where I hid the notes. "Stop," I whisper. He freezes. Slowly turns. It's not one of the suits. It's a janitor from the hospital or someone dressed like one. "I didn't take anything," he says. His accent's thick, his eyes darting. "They sent me to find a file." "Who?" He shakes his head. "I don't ask. They said to tell you. Stay quiet and they'll clear the debt. All of it." I step closer, the flashlight trembling in my grip. "And if I don't?" He hesitates. "Then they collect another way." Before I can ask more, he bolts through the door and down the stairwell, leaving the air smelling of disinfectant and fear. I lock the door, double bar it, and slide to the floor. My hands won't stop shaking. They don't need to kill me. They just need me scared enough to disappear. The next morning, I stop hiding. Fear has a pattern. It makes you small, predictable. I decide to break it. No more waiting for messages, no more reacting to ghosts in the dark. If they want silence, I'll give them noise. I start with Patel's files. The encrypted folder hides an access trail, dates, timestamps, usernames. One of them keeps repeating, L. Whitaker, Chief Financial Officer. I cross-check with public records. Whitaker sits on the board of Silver Vein Holdings, the hospital charity that funnels money to its own nightlife subsidiaries. The bar isn't just a bar, it's a laundromat for blood money. Every cocktail I've served, every bill I've paid, it all circles back to the same account. Mom's surgery debt too, paid through Silver Vein. We've been their perfect loop. Debt, payment, debt again. I print everything, not just to have proof, but because paper can't be erased with a keystroke, I stash copies in my locker, the campus Dropbox, even the bathroom ceiling tile at the bar. Then I call an old contact, a local reporter named Maren Holt. She used to cover hospital malpractice until her column got cut for budget reasons. She answers on the 3rd ring. "Clara Mendoza," I say, using my real name for the first time in months. She pauses. "You sound like someone about to ruin a career, maybe her own." "I have files, names, transfers. You want corruption? It's killing people." She meets me in a diner at dawn, the kind of place where the coffee tastes like secrets. She listens, eyes flicking over each page, her expression changing from curiosity to horror. "Jesus," she mutters, "they're writing off surgeries as entertainment expenses." She takes a breath, steadies herself. "You realize they'll come after you for this?" "I know. Then why not walk away?" I think of Mom, her thin hand gripping mine under hospital lights, because they count on us doing just that. By the next week, the story breaks. Local hospital network under investigation for fraud, money laundering, and unauthorized experiments. It's everywhere. News feeds, talk radio, headline crawlers. The Silver Vein shuts down overnight. Whitaker resigns. Several staff vanish from payroll. When the police finally visit, they take my statement, not my freedom. The files were enough. Patel's name surfaces in the indictments. His suicide is officially reclassified as homicide. For a while, justice feels possible. But hospitals don't bleed out easily. They cauterize. The settlement money never comes. The debt doesn't vanish, it just changes ownership. New logos, same predators. I still get calls from unknown numbers. The voice is always different, but the tone is the same. "We remember you." At night, when the apartment is quiet, I sometimes hear the echo of the bar, the low thrum of bass under laughter, the clink of glasses. I can almost smell the gin, the sweat, the rot under the neon. Mom's better now. She doesn't ask where the money came from. I tell her the hospital took care of it. In a way, they did. I walk to class each morning past the headlines taped to campus walls. My name isn't printed anywhere. That's how I know I survived. Still, every time someone at the hospital says my name, Clara Mendoza, my pulse jumps, waiting for the next shadow to follow it. Because survival isn't freedom, it's a lease. And I'm still paying it.